Hey, welcome back to episode number 14 of the Golden Handcuffs Guy podcast. I want to give you a little update after last week's discussion about my pre-mastermind retreat. Now that I've gone through that mastermind, I'm going to go through what I learned. Listen in.
Is it going to be something that builds? Is it going to be a life-giving interaction in some big or small way? Or are they just going to be an accessory or even an obstacle?
Get yourself uncomfortable. Do something that makes you not want to be there.
Dude, I can't even imagine thinking the way that I used to think.
So we were living parts of our vision and we wanted more of it.
So as I was saying in the pre-mastermind review, the big goal, what I was trying to get out of my mastermind meeting was to be able to get more of my vision into my current schedule. If any of you are unfamiliar with the vision process, that's really what you want your life to look like, what you kind of premeditate as your life in the future will be. It's a little bit different than goals. Goals you kind of see on the more realistic end of the scale. You hear STAR as using the STAR method for setting goals a lot of the times. But with the vision, you kind of take a few more different elements of your life into account for this, and you also make it a little more unrealistic of like, man, that's like super hard to achieve. But then you start focusing on it and you meditate on it and really read through it every day, those kind of things. You start to imagine ways for that to become part of your reality. So in this mastermind, since it's every 4 months or so, we do it 3 times a year. It's been a little while since the last retreat. So I opened up by giving them a little bit of an update on my health and, hey, this is what's going on. So that kind of set the stage in a little bit of a different tone than I expected. So transitioning then into what I was trying to go out for, it kind of gave a different tone to what it was that I was trying to get across. And I think there was like a little bit of a conflict back and forth about that. And not that everybody else in the room was wrong or not understanding what I was trying to say, but probably more so the other way around. Probably that I was not really understanding what they were saying. But with me trying to get more of my vision into my current schedule, I was anchoring it around trying to get more happiness into the present. And I was saying happiness with this catch-all term to describe what it was that I was going after, and it made it really sound as if I was unhappy, that everything that had been hitting my life, especially with health issues and whatnot, I was becoming unhappy with where my life was, and that's really not the case. And I was trying to say that. I was trying to say, hey, it's not that I'm unhappy. I am happy. It's more that I'm just have this deep lack of fulfillment of what's going on in my life. So we talked a lot about the different aspects of that. There was some challenges of like, just decide that you're happy. Just make the decision. Just be happy. And I get where they're coming from. I get it 100%. But one of the big things that really came up was this idea of affirmations. And for those of you who may have never heard of affirmations, that's I struggle to describe what they are, but it's basically saying, hey, I make $1 million or something like that, and you say that over and over and over, and then eventually kind of build that into your mind that, hey, it is possible for me to make $1 million, or I am healthy, I am healthy, I am healthy. You say that time and time again. You affirm that. That's your affirmations, and it builds it into your mind that is the reality. So as early in the discussion, multiple people kind of all got the same idea at the same time of like, hey, are you using any of this that you're talking about in your vision? Are you using any of that in your affirmations? And I said, well, frankly, I'm not doing affirmations. I do like my own version of Miracle Morning, but affirmations hasn't really been a part of that. And they they were hammering me pretty hard for not doing that, beating up on me in a good way. That hey, you should really be doing these affirmations, and that'll really help you open up the idea to getting what you want, getting this happiness in your life. And I was fighting back when they were saying that. No, 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 you don't get it. It's not that I'm not happy. I'm just not fulfilled. And I said, well, do your affirmations. I said, my affirmations aren't going to get me there. And so we just went back and forth on that. And finally, at one point, I worded it a little differently. I said something along the lines of, well, I get that the affirmations can get you these things in your life that you're after, but I don't see how the affirmations are going to get me closer to what my purpose is in my life. And it was like a switch flipped. My coach said, well, then just make the affirmation, I know what my purpose is, with clarity. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, well, yeah, that affirmation worked great. That affirmation will get me what I'm really after here. So I wrote that down. I took that to heart. I got pages of notes coming out of this mastermind. And I brought that home and kind of went a completely different direction than I would have ever expected, in a good way, with this affirmations. And I really built it up. I just thought I'd have a couple affirmations written down on an index card and post that up or carry it with me, whatever. But there was a idea that came out in a discussion after our mastermind about a way to possibly fast track this. So one of the reasons affirmations kind of work is that it's activating your reticular activating system. And the best way to describe that is it's kind of like hiking, going on a hike. If you are going on a hike and you know where you're going, the easiest way to get there is going to be on a path. Walk on the path. It's already laid out. And some areas that have been hiked quite a little bit, people have probably built bridges over the streams and all that fun stuff. It's a very easy walk. It's not really much of a hike. But if you're wanting to go somewhere new, if there's no well-worn path of a way to already get there, then you have to beat down some weeds and trample over some rocks and start building those new bridges over the streams and all that stuff. It's going to take some work to do that. But after a while of you repeating that same path over and over and over, you eventually get that new path to go there, and it's much easier for you to get to that new destination. So the brain works in a similar method, using that analogy of, the path to things you already know is very quick. If you say, what is 7 times 7, you're going to spout off 49. But if I ask you, what is 97 times 113, you're going to go find a calculator. So, that's just because you haven't beaten that path to know what the answer is to that in your mind. So this affirmations does the same thing of, hey, I know what my purpose is with clarity. I'm going to start forming that neural pathway in my brain to get to that new place that I know what my purpose is with clarity. And instead of just trampling over the weeds and the rocks time and time and time again until it's just cemented into my brain, the discussion that I had out of there was, well, if we have these songs that we really like, aren't they kind of like a form of an affirmation? And if we can have positive affirmations, is it possible that we can have negative affirmations as well? And it kind of hit me that, wow, that could be kind of dangerous. So we looked at what my favorite song was Sound of Silence. I like Disturbed, so I like their rendition of it. And we pulled it up and we looked at the lyrics, and I read through the lyrics, and nothing really happened. But then I read through the lyrics again, line by line, one at a time. And as I did that, I was like, wow, this is like how my life is starting to manifest itself. Just that in itself of these lyrics showing up in my life. And I wonder just how much of me playing that song over and over of how that is forming those neural pathways in my brain. And there's a lot of negative connotations with that. Like the sound of silence is talking, I think the first line is, hello, darkness, my old friend. Darkness being associated with sadness, depression, like just a negative connotation with it. So there's more examples throughout that song. So, all right, well, what if we could then fast track these affirmations in a positive light? What if instead of this negative version of our favorite song, we rewrote it with our vision and our affirmations and in a positive light, and use the music keys to fire the same neurons in our brain to get us going on that path, to getting that pathway tramped out really fast. So I did that with the sound of silence. I rewrote it using the same tune. No, I'm not going to sing, and I can't sing. I can barely talk. I can let alone sing. But I'm able to see now, like, hey, this is a much more positive version of this song. It actually brings tears to my eyes in different aspects of it, because it's just so positive and fits my vision and what I want in my life now. So now I have this really powerful tool to really get me to where I want to go. So I guess circling back around to this mastermind, I really went in with the idea of, hey, I want to get more of my vision into my current schedule. And it completely derailed. It went in a different direction than I would have ever anticipated. But it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing, because it's exactly what I needed in my life. And I didn't really see it. I didn't really see that, hey, you got this blind spot that's just slapping you in the side of the face, and you could really make some major strides in what you're doing if you would make this one tweak to your life. So I got a tool to help me do that. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go start doing what it was that I actually originally set out to do. And with doing that, just some opportunities have already presented themselves that I would have never even thought of already. So it's a powerful tool. I'd encourage you to try that out yourself. I think if more people did that, if more people looked at not only the songs that they're listening to, what are your TV shows you're listening to, that sort of thing, we could make some differences in the world on what our happiness is and our satisfaction and our fulfillment. Get rid of some more of these golden handcuffs. Before you go, if you'd like to have a one-on-one discussion about how you can get more fulfillment out of your life, I'm hosting free one-on-one, 1-hour conversations to help you get more out of your life. Let's help you get out of your golden handcuffs. If you want to set up an appointment, reach out to me at ghg@goldenhandcuffsguy.com. We'll set something up, get this going, and get you out of your golden handcuffs. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a rating on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever platform you're listening on. If you want to see more, go to goldenhandcuffsguy.com, where you have access to my blog, my podcasts, and a bunch of other information to help you remove your golden handcuffs.